In Dune, the desert is both a void and a force of life. In wildlife photography, minimalism captures that same contrast, emptiness revealing presence. So, my photography style is mainly inspired by minimalism. And the reason for that is that, at least for me, it presents a simplistic idea of the frame in itself. It reminds me of paintings that involve that artistic expression that have a myriad of interpretations accompanied with it. The visual storytelling of Dune is simply incredible. So the director Denis Villeneuve's vision, coupled with the cinematographer Greg Fraser, accomplished a central aspect of isolation that revolves around simplistic emptiness, while having this admiring, pristine, modern aesthetics throughout the latest Dune film installments. One of the interesting aspects of Dune that I find parallel with my wildlife photography that I try to get accustomed to is the use of negative space and clean compositions that align with minimalism. To expound on that further, Dune's vast landscapes combined with earthy tones brings forth an inspiration that speaks to a plethora of perspectives that I try to entangle within in my photography. That's why minimalism is a central theme, or at least I keep it in the back of my head when I'm trying to create my photography and videography. And I think that the many of us that try to emulate this minimalistic style is due to the fact is that it has that layer of isolation and simplicity at its core. Within all of that, this is something that I struggle with within this particular art form, which is negative space. Now, this is something that I would say that I have self-indoctrinated myself within my own photography in regards to keeping everything center frame in regards to my photography and videography, and not really understanding the placements or the versatility in the placements of utilizing negative space and how one can interpret that within the visual storytelling that one is telling at that time frame. Like I said before, this is a mental obstacle for myself, and I try to and I attempt to every single time when I'm out shooting my videos and photos is that being mindful of this very thing, because ultimately I want to make sure is that I am doing my best to present my art or my photography videography in the way that is not so much leaning heavily towards a central point, but creating more of a versatility within my visual storytelling, I would say. And I think for me, the rabbit hole of other struggles within that, as far as like, what does this minimalistic photography look like within the wildlife space? And how are we capturing that moment at the same time frame within everything? Because a lot of times within wildlife photography, you don't really have control of the background, which a lot of times can be busy. It may not display any type of minimalistic aspects to it that you feel based upon the definitions and the visualizations that one has seen over the course of just really studying this. So I think that it's a fine balance with everything, and I try not to overthink it, but it's a little bit hard sometimes whenever you're trying to be as specific and treat things with care too as well, and show respect to those art forms and communities that have kind of laid the way or laid the foundation for particular art forms and stuff. But as always, continue to appreciate the process, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Deuces. Yes, sir.